What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Of course, we're talking to bantamweight Adrian Yanez, who's got a big fight coming up against Rob Font on April 8th, UFC 287. The fight was just announced. What's going on, Adrian? How are you?
Man, I am doing great, man. Loving living life, man. And yeah, I got a really big fight in front of me, man. I'm super excited, especially a name like Rob Font, man. I can't get any better than that.
Exactly. And, we've been talking for a long time, kind of taking you through the steps, Dana White Contender Series, and slowly getting matched up. No disrespect to past opponents. It's just the progress everyone goes through, right? Except you've been on the winning end of a lot of your fights, which has gotten you to this position. But I wanted to ask you, how much better are you now than at Dana White Contender Series when we were all excited about your prospects then?
Yeah, and honestly, as of right now, like the best way to explain it is that I'd beat the shit out of myself back then. So yeah, no, I've gotten so much better. Been able to work on everything, and then having key components in my training camp that just happen to line up together. Got more training partners, high level training partners, and then on top of that, everything that kind of went on with my coach, was able to find people that have worked with my coach and my coach highly respected, like Eve Edwards and Michael Chase Corley, and then just making my team stronger. So yeah, I've grown leaps and bounds from that first Dana White Contender Series, and just moving on afterwards has been kind of like, it's kind of like a sigh of relief too, because now it's one of those things. It's official for me, that where I'm here and I'm like ranked, and knowing that I deserve to be here kind of gives me that extra little bit of like confidence, because like before I was ranked, before I had my first like two UFC fights, man, it's always that question of like whether you deserve to be here. But now, like me at the age I am now, and like the position I am now, it's like the ranking and everything is just like, oh yeah, now I'm here. I'm like different mindset and everything. So it's like it's been a super blessing with how my whole entire career is kind of planned out and panned out. So it's good. I love it, man. It's complete different change from the Contender Series now.
Speaking of Contender Series, we have a new champion from the Contender Series, Jamahal Hill. Are you more happy for him as a fellow fraternity brother of DWCS, excuse me? Or are you more like, oh man, that could have been me?
Yeah, man, I'm happy. I'm happy for him, man. I'm really, really am happy for him. It kind of, for the longest time, none of the Contender Series guys were like, they got up. Some have gotten up there, but a lot of them like weren't able to get it. So, and a lot have gotten super close, and like even to the point where like they're in title contention, in their next fight, and then lose that fight. So yeah, no, I'm really happy to see Jamahal Hill go out there and get the win, because it kind of solidifies what the Contender Series is about. They've had so many Ultimate Fighter, champs, but finally we have a Dana White Contender Series champ, and it's a good one too, because man, it's exactly what you get. Like, you sometimes when you're watching the Contender Series, you get a guy who's like 5-0, 6-0, and like kind of like those guys that are just like coming in, not the prettiest records coming in, but like as in like opponent wise. But Jamahal Hill came in, surprised everybody, went up there and just knocked everybody out and stayed on a continued win streak. And it kind of shows that, man, like the Contender Series is about to start building a whole bunch of champs. They're gonna have an influx of champs, so for me, I'm more happy that he broke that barrier for a lot of us, and now it's like kind of like it's going to happen. Now you're going to start seeing Contender Series champ, Contender Series champ, Contender Series champ. So I'm really excited. Of course, you always strive to be that first one, but the fact that it was Hill, like it makes it a lot better, because I like to feel like I like his style, and I love the way he fights, and he goes out there and puts it on the line every single time. And just seeing him go out there and get that strap was really, really cool.
And I imagine it lifted your confidence level as well. I mean, you have to be confident, first of all, to fight in your underwear in front of thousands in the arena and millions at home. But on top of that, like, hey, what's the quality of this batch? Like first Ultimate Fighters, first Dana White Contender Series fighters. Now one guy goes out there and wins it. And now you got to feel like, yeah, that's just the process, except now we're going through this channel versus the old channel, I imagine.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it just like I said, it's gonna open a door of influx of fighters coming in, and knowing that it's possible. And even just for myself, you know, I didn't think I'd be in this position. There's a lot of Ultimate Fighter fights that like fighters like yeah, I know Contender Series fighters that get into the UFC but are quickly like taken out, you know. So there's going to be a lot more confidence in these guys coming in and be like, no, I'm here, I can make it, not just be a couple stint like a one contract fighter. I can be here and be here for a very long time. You know, there's a lot of guys in there that like I look at, like I was watching Dan Ige, and Dan Ige has been one of those guys that's kind of like one of those guys that I looked at as inspirational too, because he got on the Contender Series and now he's made himself pretty much like an MMA household name. You know, everybody knows who Dan Ige is. You know, he's going out there and flatlined a couple guys and also put up phenomenal performances against really tough opponents. You know, and Jamahal Hill is one of those guys too. Hill goes out there, he's put out almost everybody and then goes out there and wins the title on top of that. It just makes the confidence up there and make us be like, no, like, how can I say it? We are championship material coming out the Contender Series. We just need to, you know, continue to keep evolving, because I feel like in the Ultimate Fighter, like a lot of those guys came in wanting to be the champion, wanting to be at the cream of the crop, and you know, you got us now starting to come in just being like, all right, we're the cream of the crop now. You know, if that makes sense.
Yep. UFC bantamweight Adrian Yanez joining us here on the program, fighting again April 8th, UFC 287. Don't know the location yet. Maybe AY will tell us after the interview. Goes, what do you have for Adrian?
Well, maybe he'll tell us during the interview. We never know.
Want to tell us where you fighting? Come on, you have to dust off the passport. Is it domestic? Are we going to see you in a few weeks? You know, we're in Las Vegas.
You know,
if you want me to shut up.
I really wish I knew. I had a TBD on my contract, so I would definitely like let y'all know. But yeah, no, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to be fighting. Okay. A lot of speculation has been Brooklyn, but the last I heard that I feel like they're kind of straying away from it. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I kind of don't want to go to New York just because of the tax reasons. You know, I'm just like either Florida, Texas, or, you know, let's go back to Nevada or something, you know. So yeah, no. It'd be fun to fight in Brooklyn. It'd be fun to fight in New York at MSG, but the taxes on my end, I'm just like, you know, let's just stay in a no taxes, you know, fight area, you know.
Well, yeah. I have an idea. It might not be for this fight, but look over your right shoulder.
Good old Mexico. Yeah, I would 100% love to do that. I would 100% love to do that. Yeah, I'd go there 100%. Like fighting in Mexico would probably be one of those things that be surreal for me, you know, because man, my family, my mom's side's family, especially, man. You know, I always make the joke that my mom is still illegal. She only got the papers. Well, you know, she did get the papers through my dad being married, but yeah, no, that would be cool. Going back and kind of just representing my mom's side of the family 100%, you know, and I think that'd be amazing. Yeah, no, that actually sounds really good. It would be cooler to be able to represent Mexico for my mom's side of the family, like my grandfather, my grandmother, and everything. I think that'd be really cool. Just an honor for them, you know. That would be super awesome. I would love to do that. Yeah, because I feel like I fight like a Mexican fighter anyways. So I feel like it's just bound to happen. Me fighting Mexico like a Mexican fighter, knocking somebody out. That'd be fun.
There you go. Look, I know I promise you, we're going to get to Rob Font. It's over here over my shoulder, right? But I do want to kind of add on to that Dana White Contender Series with line of questioning that George is asking. Are you going to be next, dog? Like there's a couple of these guys that are creeping up. You think you'll be the next one to get the belt?
Oh yeah, I feel so. But the top contender right now, the number one guy is up there, Sean O'Malley. So depends on how everything plays out. This sport is very crazy where it's, you know, it can actually be like Sean gets that next fight and let's just say he lands the shot that knocks either Cejudo or Aljo out. It'd be really cool to get the two Contender Series, you know, guys fighting for a belt. We got one defending, one challenging. That'd be pretty cool itself, because that's a possibility as well. And I think that'd be the first time that happened too. So that'd be another first. But yeah, I think I'm along the lines that would be next. I just need to get through Rob Font. no, that's all that's on my mind right now. The belt, it's nice, it's pretty, it bumps up the paychecks. But none of that happens if I get slept by Font.
Are you in a hurry to make all of this happen? Because I know you said you're focused on Rob Font, but throughout your career, we've noticed you have been kind of patient, and we do feel like that's maybe played in your favor and worked out for you. All the talk about the belt and all that, is it stuff that you just kind of see in the future, or do you think right time, right place, maybe that could happen sooner than we think?
Fine. Yeah, like honestly, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush, man. Everything's gonna fall into place the way it falls into place. I'm not really uh as things come, I've always kind of been that person that never like kind of rushes for anything. I let the I like the delayed gratification type deal, just like in investing, just like if you put all your eggs in one basket way too soon, even though you didn't make, you're just like, all right, everybody's like the get rich quick scheme, put all your money in this, and then next you tank. Yeah, I like to make sure that I get like a good solid ground and just make sure that I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm getting myself into, just like in the sport, just in general, like there's a lot of things that could go wrong, but if you take your time and do things right, everything's going to plan out and be, it can be very, very fruitful for you. So on my end, I'm in no rush, but if the opportunity presents itself for me, then by all means, I'm going to jump in, dive in head first and, make the most of the opportunity, because you never know when the opportunity is going to come again. So I'm going to be very like, I can be patient, but also at the same time, opportunity pops up, I'm for sure gunning for it, because man, the opportunity may never come again.
Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of similarities with Rob Font, the way you guys fight. And I'm curious, is this a thing where, both of you are going to be in front of you, and I'm sure at some times the game plan will just get thrown out the window and the toughness from both guys are going to come out. And then I can also see both of you have been very cerebral in your fights, a lot of strategy. Is it going to be a mixture of the both? Is it going to be one or the other? How do you see this fight playing out, Adrian?
Honestly, I feel like the fight is going to play out. It's going to be a mixture. I feel like we're going to take each other's approach very seriously. We both know we have power in each other's in both hands, and we both know that at the end of the day, one of us can go out. So I really think it's just going to be a mixture of both. I'm really planning. I'm really like, we're game planning and everything, and we're going to be I feel like we're going to be the one that comes out on top. But I'm not taking Rob Font any type of lightly, because he has a phenomenal jab. He has a phenomenal uppercut. He has a phenomenal overhand. His left hook, I feel like is not as strong as mine, but I feel like I can get through. I can find the cracks, and it'll be one of those. I know as soon as he gets hit, he's gonna want to come back, and as soon as I get hit, I'm gonna want to come back. So we're gonna be fighting the urge to want to keep our feet in the center of the ring and just duke it out, because I know we both don't want brain damage, but at the same time, we're two warriors that are gonna just sometimes just gonna have to bite down on the mouthpiece and just get after it, And on my end, I feel like I hit harder, so it'd be a detriment to him if he tried that. But it's gonna be a fun one, man. I really can't wait. Like, it's like I really feel like this is going to be the coming out party for me on my end, just because I know what type of fight he brings. And, I'm kind of always looking back, and I'm always really pissed off about my Randy Costa fight. And this fight for me kind of redeems it for me on my end. Cause like, that fight itself, that Randy Costa fight, with everything that had went on, like I was really upset that how that became like more of like a banger type fight. I thought I was going to do it very cleanly, but this one, it's like more like I get to redeem myself on that, and where the guy can come in, he can take a shot, and I know he's not going to stop coming forward, and he has a really good jab. He has really good boxing, and for me, it's going to be like kind of redeeming on my end, because I get very upset about a lot of my performances, but I feel like this one, I'm not going to be very upset. I'm going to be not content, but like I'm always going to be looking to get better. But it's going to be something I can look back and be like, I did a really good job with that one.
Man, you're a harsh critic. I remember
harsh.
You finishing Randy Costa in round 2 in what was a very exciting fight, but I guess there are some finer minute details in there of what you're looking for, striving for. Like you said, be more clinical, maybe take less damage, and issue that damage.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm always very critical in my performances. Like I'm always looking. I'm always trying to see what I can get better. There's it's one of those things for me that like it's kind of always hard for me to stay happy with the victory, because I just look and I'm always breaking down my fights, and I'm always trying to look to see how somebody else can beat me, and that's and I'm always looking. I'm like, yeah, I feel I feel if I was fighting me, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. So like I'm like my mind's always just going, trying to get better, trying to do something, and yeah, I think the only fight that that I'm like satisfied with is the last one.
Okay. Are you going to weigh 135 on April 8th or April 7th? You know what I mean?
135. I'll plan to weigh it, but I'm always gonna get that extra pound leniency. I don't care. Like I'll take advantage of it. But if I float off that pound by the time weigh-ins comes, then I'll be on the dot.
You don't think it'd be wise to maybe weigh 135? There's rumors of a title fight that same night.
Yeah, if it is, then it is. But on my end, I'm gonna come in like I've usually weighed in at 135, even most of my fights coming in.
Yeah.
But I'll give myself the pound leniency. But if something were to happen and I need to step in, that I'm gonna take that opportunity. Just like I said earlier.
Yeah.
Just like I said earlier.
If the opportunity, right?
Yeah. If the opportunity comes up, then I'm there to take it, because I know what that does. That changes my family's life. That changes a lot on my end. So I'm just here trying to get my kid's college fund going, so I can make sure that he has a better life than I have. Doesn't have to get punched. He can do it all with his brain and just be smart, instead of like on my end,
Right. And I guess it'd be fair to ask, so would maybe 90% of your camp be focused on Font, maybe 5% on how to fight an Olympic wrestler, and another 5% on how to fight someone with an amazing back take? Just give them a little bit of love. You never know. You might be in that matchup.
Yeah, no, I honestly think the Front's gonna shoot. So like on my end, I've already been working on the wrestling. I've already been working on the jiu-jitsu. I've already been working on like a lot of things, like from the ground, from jiu-jitsu to the wrestling to the clinch work to the Muay Thai and to the boxing and everything. So I've had like all last year after my last fight in July, my last fight in July, I got word about Font. And after that, like I just kind of been training, just trying to get better everywhere. And so I've been working on everything. I've never really kind of been out the gym. And, after training with some really high level guys, I was like, I need to work on a lot of these things. So I started working on this, doing my best to close the gap, and then being able to train with someone like Rafian Stosh, and then also a guy who's really good with jiu-jitsu and Matt Snell, and then being able to work with those guys, pretty much on the daily has been helping me out on my end. So yeah, and then I have a great boxer, Cameron Smotherman, throwing hands at me. So yeah, man, I feel like I'm ready to take on any challenge, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, I just consistently just been working, man. I can't not work on anything. I can't just strictly just focus on oh, Font's a really good boxer. He's gonna come in just boxing heavy, because I honestly think he's gonna shoot. So that's been making me work on everything.
Adrian, so last thing on Font for me. We know him pretty well, and we'll probably speak to him as well. And we feel like we've gotten to know you pretty well as well. So here's what I'm proposing. This fight takes place in Las Vegas. After the fight on Sunday, George and I will take you to Rob Font's favorite burger place, which is probably one of ours, Fuku Burger, large Dr. Pepper, and a Fuku Burger, and we'll all just have a nice meal. What do you think?
Oh man, I think that'd be nice. I think that'd be really, really nice. If it's definitely there in Vegas, oh for sure. You don't have to tell me that, because there's the couple times I've been to Vegas and I was cutting weight. My training partner wanted to go to that spot, and I didn't want to be just at the hotel, so I went with them, and I was just watching them eat some really good food. So yeah, no, I would 100% want to do that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Whenever y'all interview Font, tell him I said hello. Hope he's getting the weight down. Hope he's doing it safely, and bless him and his family.
And then I'm going to give you a little preview of something that we may talk about on Monday on our Spinning Back episode. So George will get a little bit of a preview too. But I was thinking, all right, we talked about Jamahal Hill, first Dana White Contender Series champion. If you go back to what you guys are always compared to, which is The Ultimate Fighter, Their first champion was Forrest Griffin, same weight class. So I'll put both of you guys on the spot here. What happens if you were to take that Forrest Griffin that won the championship off the Ultimate Fighter and the Jamahal Hill off of Dana White Contender Series? How's that fight play out?
Ooh, okay. So if we got that fight in both their primes, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I feel Hill would take it. I feel Hill would take that fight, just like if we're doing the hypotheticals, you know, Forrest Griffin and his Ultimate Fighter. Oh wait, are we talking about when they won the belt, or are you talking about when they won? Like, okay, so if we're talking about when they won the belt,
whatever their skill level was at that moment, if they were to meet,
I feel Jamahal Hill would take that one. I feel like Jamahal Hill is like, I feel, because at the end of the day, MMA is just getting all well-rounded, way better. You know, like back in the day, a lot of people didn't really defend the single how they defend the single now. A lot of people didn't know how to mix in jiu-jitsu with the wrestling. They didn't know how to mix it up. Even though I feel Forrest Griffin did that pretty well, I just feel like right now it's on a whole different level, and you just kind of see someone like Jamahal Hill. Look, he had someone on top of him like Glover Teixeira. And man, like, and he's really good and legit on the ground, and Glover wasn't able to hold him down too much longer, and wasn't able to put him in any like super serious like bad positions and keep him there. You know, I feel like Jamahal Hill would get that win for sure.
Yeah, and I would agree. It just MMA's evolved in the last 10 years or so. I think Griffin won his title about 12 years ago. Then he lost to another Ultimate Fighter in Rashad Evans. But the difference to me would be Hill's one-punch power that he has that Griffin probably lacked. Not that I want to get hit by Griffin, you know, so that I can be proven wrong. But yeah, Hill, I think even Griffin would acknowledge that. He's just a harder hitter. He's very accurate, very clinical. You know, in round one, when he heard Glover, he probably could have just actually unloaded, you know, the chamber and really gone after him, but he exhibited some nice patience, and it allowed him to carry on and keep strong throughout, even in round 5 when Glover Teixeira, if I'm not mistaken, got some more ground time. So, you know, Hill fought very, very smart, and they've all learned from their predecessors. All these young fighters like Adrian and Jamal, they've learned from their predecessors. So if anything, it's a shout out to a guy like Forrest Griffin.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, Adrian, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it, as always. Huge fight, and I'm glad we got to talk to you, to react to now as you are probably putting together your camp and then getting ready to, you know, to put the hard hat on and go to work, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then sometime maybe around 5 week, we'll connect again. And if it's in Vegas, for sure afterwards, Fuku Burger, baby, number 4 with mushrooms and the teriyaki sauce plus a big old Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I'm there 100%.
Don't forget the jazz fight. All right, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good one.